Here's the good news. You won't need any documentation to get into my opinions on immigration, because through the very act of buying this audiobook, your identity has been electronically entered into a secret government registry. The bad news. Folks, we are being colonized by an invading force. Did you know there are more illegal Mexican immigrants in America today than there were American troops in occupied Germany after World War II? Unlike most of my facts, I can back that one up with reality. Experts say there are 12 to 14 million illegal immigrants in the United States. Put that in perspective. If you took all the foreigners who have no business living in America and put them into Dodge Caravans, remember those seat 6, and drove them out of the country, taking up all 3 lanes of a highway, the line of minivans would stretch for I don't care how long, because the more important question is, how can we get them into those vans? So do we have a problem with illegals? I'll say. Now, a lot of people, including my spell check, have a problem with the term illegals. They say it's not a word. And even if it were, it would be insensitive to the feelings of people who are breaking our nation's law. Fine, let's call them immorals, because what could be more immoral than a Guatemalan crossing into this country to pick our American fruit just because her kids are poor? Oh, I can hear the cries now. How can you suggest that we slam the door? America is a nation of immigrants. We all have ancestors who left their crowded, impoverished homelands behind for America. Even Andrew Carnegie was an immigrant. Well, it's interesting that you should bring up Andrew Carnegie, one of our nation's most esteemed robber barons. Yes, he was born in Scotland, so what makes him different from the type of immorals we're experiencing today? Uncover your ears and listen, America. Once upon a time, there was the right kind of foreigner. Yes, Virginia. There is a right kind of foreigner. The kind who comes to America, loses his brogue, and creates U.S. steel. When he dies, he leaves the legacy of breaking the Homestead Strike of 1892, paving the road for non-union workers everywhere. If he admits to any foreign ties, it's just to having a hunting estate at Skilbow Castle in Scotland. That's it. No parades, no crazy hat dances. His only clubs are ones like the South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club, whose man-made trout-stuffed lake burst through its dam, leaving 2,200 dead in one of the greatest floods in American history, the Johnstown Flood of 1889. Sad event, but a great social club. Over 60 millionaires, and that was back when trolley rides cost a penny. Of course, we can't all be Andrew Carnegies, but we can honor the struggles and ambitions of our immigrant ancestors by doing as they did, leaving the past behind for the sake of a brighter future. Listen to my struggle. I'm a member of a mixed-race marriage. While I'm the proud product of hearty Irish Catholic stock, my wife is Scots Presbyterian. In the old country, our love could never have been. In fact, a glance at my wife's family record shows that her ancestors moved onto the very land my family was forced to abandon when that roundhead son of a bitch, Oliver Cromwell, forced the Irish west of the River Shannon to farm rocks. But when the Colbert clan set sail for America, they harbored 2 shining hopes. One, that they could survive a 3-month steerage passage on coal and onion peel soup, and 2, that one day their children could forget the enmity of the past and live a life of freedom. Well, I've done them one better. 7 generations on, I've planted my Irish potato on the very family that stole our land. You see, the great thing about my marriage is that it symbolizes the hope America once offered its immigrants. Here, immigrants received a gift never given before in world history. They could leave the past behind. How lucky they were to get to erase all remnants of their previous lives, languages, and cultures, and go about the business of becoming an American Christian. So let's take that beautiful idea to its logical conclusion and not only leave the past behind, but deny the past ever happened. It's this easy. America is not a land of immigrants. There. Was that so hard to say? It makes sense if you think about it. It feels like we've been here forever, doesn't it? Let's just assume we have been. How does it taste to smash the shackles of our past? Well, to me, it tastes like freedom. Now that we've liberated ourselves from the old factual myth of our immigrant history, we can focus on the future. And let me tell you, there are some dark times ahead, because for the first time in our new history, we are being swarmed by legions of immigrants. And folks, it is time to fight back. We all know the government has refused to take action to end the problem. It's up to us. There are 3 things we can do to secure the borders today. 1. Heavily arm our volunteer militias. The failure of leadership in Washington has given rise to a new border patrol of selfless patriots called the Minutemen. I've hung out with these guys, and let me assure you, They take their duties deadly seriously. Let me also assure you that night vision goggles are cool. Get a pair. Number 2. Take a lesson from the Chinese. We need to build a 2,000-mile-long wall along our southern border. This will have 2 benefits. First of all, when I'm worried, I like to stay busy. Building a giant wall is a great way to keep the nation's mind off how many immigrants enter the country through airports. Second, this wall might actually keep people out if it's built right. Not like that picket fence the Russians threw up across Berlin. We don't want these Mexican jumping beans hopping over whenever they feel like it. Make it tall. I mean tall enough that if you bake at the top of it, you'll need to use the high-altitude instructions. I'm talking about something that can be seen from space, with double-wall construction, machine gun nests, and a flaming moat loaded with fireproof crocodiles. 3. You want to end the swarm? Take away the honeypot. Everybody says immigrants just do the jobs Americans don't want to do, but let's test that theory, shall we? They pick our fruits and vegetables. Who wouldn't want to have a job that got them out in the fresh air more often? Hell, I pay $20 a pop for the privilege of picking apples and pumpkins every October, and the hayride is extra. If we really want to get rid of these occupational interlopers, I say we give them the jobs nobody wants to do. Here are a few American jobs that will have them packing their piñatas in no time. Pottery teacher. Feel like throwing yourself in front of a train? Throw a pot instead. The one word that will best describe your students is desperate middle-aged woman looking for a creative outlet after the divorce. A word that won't describe them, however, is talented. There are only so many ways of asking, what are you trying to make, before you finally snap and use the kiln to cook a car battery. High school guidance counselor. You wake up every morning thinking, if I'm so good at finding careers for people, how did I end up as a high school guidance counselor? At least you're not the vice principal. Bass player. It's like you made a poorly worded deal with the devil to be a rock star. Instead of fame, fortune, and groupies, you stand in the shadows plucking one note for 90 minutes while the lead singer picks out a trio of co-eds from the front row for a post-show pansexual trapeze act. Even worse, you're expected to room with the drummer.